Welcome to Memoirs of a Fitness Trainer podcast. Today we are talking about imposter syndrome, that nasty little insecurity that every professional faces, and no more so than personal trainers. Something about working with people and trying to put your own expertise out there where you might not have all of that confidence can be absolutely crippling in your career. And we're here to talk about that very topic. Aaron?
Life's good, man. Just got back from a Spartan race with clients of my own. Speaking of it, if any of you guys want to get into something really challenging and fun, jump on that Spartan race train. Tons of fun. I'm really cool to train for. But no, things are all doing great over on my end.
Tyler, remember that Spartan race we were supposed to do? Great times.
Yeah. We got our Spartan race canceled on us. We were supposed to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
We had
I was supposed to go with you guys, remember? That's why I came.
That's why you came.
Right.
Yeah, we were all supposed to do that. Yeah. Dude, my next thing on my list is Hydrox. Everybody's all about it.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
So much hype. I just hate running. So.
It's it's like a new version of CrossFit, I feel like. It's just kind of just like replacing. It's like the new big hype, just like CrossFit was for many years. But not Olympic lifts. It's not anything.
I think I've heard of that. One of my travel buddies, she's trying to go over to, I think it's Norway. They have a bunch of different circuits and like concept over there. It's like really big.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. It's like burpee implemented, but it's 50% running. Like it is literally like there's so much running in it. That's what I know a trainer that just got certified for it. So, this is a guy down in Marin who he just got certified in Hydrox as to be like a level 1 coach. Mm-hmm. And it's a huge hype. It's what's going on. It is like now moving into that realm. It's more like Spartan races in a sense versus like the idea of CrossFit. CrossFit and that type of style is just brute force. The workouts are written. You have your WOD. You're doing barbell. You're doing lifts. This is definitely more of a race. Yeah. So, in comparison, it's more comparison this like Spartan race than CrossFit at all.
Yeah, fun little competitions.
Just realized I didn't have my lights on the side of my face. That's why I look so dark.
I just thought it was a very, very nice tan.
No, you and I both know I'm white.
Yeah, dude. White. But so funny that you bring up this topic. So I have a guy that actually.
Nice transition.
Dude, like literally this happened this week. He's in our fitness realm in the sense that he's actually a massage therapist, but he came in questioning his own capabilities and comparing himself to like all the other trainers, even to myself. He's like, dude, you came in here and you've rocked your like first few weeks. Like you're so high in sales. And it's like, I see other people so good, and I've worked with him. He's worked on me. And he's really good in his craft, but he's very faulty in his confidence. And so he's definitely feeling that thief of like comparison and joy.
Yeah, I think honestly imposter syndrome hits us all in every single angle. I mean, in the fitness world and business, I know I carried it with me throughout. And the biggest recommendation I can give is to just keep pushing forward. And even to every time that you feel that self-doubt or insecurity, just do it anyways, right? Like whatever. The big thing for me whenever I was getting into the field is like you just see people on level 20 while you're sitting there at level 1, like just starting your book. And it's like, fuck, it's daunting. It's like, oh, maybe I don't have the skills that it takes, but you acquire them as you go. And so by taking one step at a time and just doing it anyways, eventually you'll end up at a spot that at one day you were looking at thinking you'll never be at.
Yep. I think it was
what's going on in the background with one of you guys.
I don't know. I think it's maybe Tommy typing.
Oh, no.
Honestly, like one of a quote that I think about, right, would be Denzel Washington. If you don't even fail, you're not even trying. Just that sense. I'm sure that's been ripped off and taken in so many different manners. I've heard it on other people's voices too. That's where I heard it my first time, so I'm giving them credit. But it's like when I came in as a new trainer and I was coming in nervous and, kind of didn't understand how to make sales, how to talk to clients in that first initial state, like that first half of a year, honestly, I was questioning, like, is this the right career for me? And like, it's tough, but I failed. And from those experiences of failure, I learned, okay, at this point, I don't talk about this subject, or I don't bring this, or if they want to go talk later on, or they want to think about it, I need to follow up with them. If I don't follow up, there's no choice. I'm never going to get that lead.
Well, let's first start out by just define what imposter syndrome is first, because what the hell are we talking about at this point, right?
Right.
So, for me, I've always viewed imposter syndrome like having success that you don't feel you're warranted. Like, you're in this position of expertise. People are coming to you for advice. How do I lose weight? How do I get healthy? X, Y, and Z. And you almost feel like, why the hell are you coming to me? I'm just a normal guy at this point. So that's always been my view of it. But how do you guys view what imposter syndrome is?
Aaron, I let my elders go first. He always wants to go first.
Is that an insult to age? No. Yeah, I think you said
That
it
is
just-
right. Tyler is the youngest.
I know.
Dang.
I know.
I think you said it just right. Imposter syndrome is just that. It's like not believing in the ability of the success that you've already built, right? It's not believing in the person that you are today or the character that you have built today, or even more so that maybe you're just not worthy of it is what you start to believe. And so, it affects me to this day. So I just want to let you guys know, starting where you're at, that if you guys feel it, even at the higher of the levels, and I'm sure the people higher than me feel it as well. And again, it's just about showing up anyways and understanding. Eventually you start to get this mindset of, you start to uncover and unravel, right? Like you get to the next level and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I am becoming a little bit more of this person that I've, didn't believe I could become, or I didn't believe I am. And so you just start to unravel and uncover slowly but surely, because I am at a point in my career now where I actually do feel very confident in who I am, where I'm at, and how I got here. And so when people come to me with questions, I feel very capable of answering those questions and helping them, knowing that I'm giving them information that will help them get to the success that they're looking for.
That.
Yeah.
Okay. TJ, what do you got?
Imposter syndrome to me, right? It's a sense of doubt in yourself. It's doubting your ego. It's doubting your ability to help somebody. It is doubting your business accomplishments. It's just a sense of doubt. And my solution to a lot of the stuff with doubt is finding people that have the similar lifestyle. So like, we have our trainers together. And if I'm ever questioning if I'm doing something right, I can go to somebody and act humble and say, hey, this is the client I have. This is what the issue is. What would you recommend? And pulling from more resources is how I'll pull myself away from imposter syndrome. And ultimately, if I have a case in front of me and I'm still very doubtful of my skills, then I get completely humble and I say, you know what? I don't think I'm the right fit. I think I know the right person for you. And I'll recommend the right trainer. That's just me being able to just kind of be completely humble and say, this isn't a case that I'm going to be of best use for this person. But again, imposter syndrome, just in a general manner, to me, it's a sense of doubt in your skills, in your ego, in yourself.
Probably a little bit of both.
I also think it stems from, and obviously imposter syndrome is exactly that. It's doubt or not believing in who you have become or what you have achieved. But to me, the imposter syndrome really comes more from not being where others may be, right? So for instance, comparing yourself to people that are so light years ahead of you still can cause imposter syndrome because it makes you feel worry or doubt about where you're headed. And because of that, it starts to put that stress on you like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe what I've achieved isn't good enough. So I must not be who I say or claim to be, right? So I think looking too far into the future can also really highly affect that self-doubt and imposter syndrome.
I've always looked at it a little bit from the lens of, you must have had to have done this to be at that level. I haven't done that yet. Mm-hmm. So it's that whole element of, I see the millionaire, I'm like, God, this guy's got 50 accolades behind him. That's how he got the millions. When the reality probably was he got the millions and then got the 50 fucking accolades behind himself. Mm-hmm. But feeling like you don't have that has always been my driver. But my question for you guys here is, do you guys have a specific example of some time that you faced imposter syndrome? And I will go first to give you guys a couple seconds to ruminate. Mm-hmm. But I remember my first training job at 24 Hour Fitness. I would have been probably 20, maybe even 19 at the time. And I got asked to go speak about nutrition, and I had no idea. I was like, oh my God, I've like barely learned about nutrition for myself. I don't know what we're doing here. But I had gone in there and kind of faked it till I made it as this like nutrition guy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, I have to now talk on this subject. And I was petrified. Like, I mean, shit my pants, petrified to talk in front of these people. But went up there, went and did it, and turned out I actually didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, which, started a career in nutrition. There was that big element of going in there. It's like, who the hell am I? I'm 20-year-old trainer. I haven't graduated college. Like, what? There's nothing here.
Correct.
Why am I in this position to talk to people? And again, it just turned out I needed to take the leap of faith and found out that I did have the skills that I thought I didn't have. But that was my example with that. What do you guys got?
Yeah, so just to piggyback up on that, I think also to help you all out, I think the biggest thing is repetition and repetition and repetition, because the more you start to practice at something, honestly, the more you're going to start believing in your capabilities. The more I'm sure Ryan started talking more about nutrition, the more he started to realize I actually fucking know what I'm talking about with nutrition. And so just getting yourself out, just again, doing it anyways and succeeding or failing, succeeding, whatever it is, until you start to actually fully believe in yourself. But yeah, I face imposter syndrome to this day. I mean, obviously there's people who are gym owners that I know very well out here in Orange County who are light years ahead of me. And so it makes me feel like maybe I'm not a successful gym owner. Maybe I'm not doing it correctly. Maybe my style isn't correctly. Maybe they're smarter because they have a different strategy than I do, right? So that imposter syndrome hits me all the time when it comes to business. But again, I just keep on plugging away and more success comes from that, right? So, but yeah, I think that in business it happens all the time. And then also I would say that a big imposter syndrome for me is whenever I was starting off by bringing on a team. So I was bringing in trainers and I was coaching them feeling that I was not worthy enough or educated enough in my field to coach these coaches to be successful. But then again, over and over again, these coaches built clientele. These coaches retained clientele. These coaches are now doing it themselves, right? So over time, it has taught me that imposter syndrome was actually incorrect, and that it just takes a little bit of time to start believing and trusting in your.
Aaron, how cool is it to get that first trainer to get like a pretty decent living? So that first one, like how fulfilling is that feeling?
It's amazing. It's honestly,
Cool.
Feeling is amazing. And then watching them grow kind of just by themselves is what the great part is. Because a lot of like my coaches came in and yeah, they've worked for box gyms, but we're contractors, right? So it's like, they're not just employees, like they're running their own show, right? Like they're doing their scheduling. They have clients sign, like, you know what I mean? The waivers and contracts, like they're doing everything solo. And so to have a system in play that I've created and it actually function has been a huge factor for me to slowly start to believe in myself that, damn, I really am this guy who opened up a gym in Orange County, and watching it consistently year after year grow. And I think that's it. You just have to prove it to yourself. And I'm sure this imposter syndrome will hit me again. And that's the great thing, because I feel like if you're not getting imposter syndrome, then you're not going to new levels, right? And every time you get to a new level, you probably are going to believe that you don't deserve to be there until you get to the next level. And so for me, I think growth is a big indicator for imposter syndrome.
Well, I think it's also a portion of like, it's because we care about what we do. That leads to us doubting that we might not be good enough. Because I think that is another side of what makes imposter syndrome such a common thing in the industry, is trainers are so passionate. Like, more often than not, the reason why someone got involved in fitness was because, God, I wanted to do something I loved. And well, when you love something, you want to be good about it, and you're going to worry about that.
Yep.
But, TJ, what do you got?
I mean, currently I'm freaking locked, baby. Let me tell you right now, there ain't no imposter right now. I'll freaking tuck that dude deep. I'm freaking rolling.
Yes.
But, yeah. Like,
Go back through the lexicon, Mr. Perfect. Like, shit, I went back to 20.
Dude, like, the only thing I question at this point is, like, once I get to the next tier, like, how do I command respect humbly amongst those who have been there longer than me? Like, because I already know I'm going above and beyond. But, like, if I'm
it didn't work out so hot for me when I tried to do it, so.
That's the only complication in my mind at the moment is, like, how am I going to have this conversation? But that's roads ahead of me. If I'm thinking about, like, when's the most recent time that I had like some type of a concept, it was when I came back to the training field, and I was kind of getting back into the training routine. I doubted if my programming was optimal. Meaning, like, was I able to actually take a client, give them homework, get them to do the expectations that were required, and then get the results? Because knowing that if they're meeting with me only twice a week, how am I going to keep them accountable to doing the rest of it? And, like, feeling like, oh, I should be sending out text messages every morning, and like be like one of those trainers who's got like a Facebook group of all of his clients and always is like in contact and always texting. I was just like, you know what? It took a long time for me to kind of realize, like, hey, people are getting what I'm telling them. My programming does work. There are better areas I could be more efficient, and that's an area I'm going to dial into. So that way I can stop having these feelings of remorse or doubt. People are telling me, like, dude, you're doing everything. Like, I see the results. I'm doing great. And at that point, I was able to settle down. But it took months. And now I'm at that point again where I'm implementing a whole new process where it's like I'm having to do trainerize in club and having to really script out workouts and plans. And I'm like, okay, I got to be able to schedule time during the week that I can follow up on all these programs for each client. Like, that has to be a part of the week because I know what it takes now. But it took that failure at the start of guessing and questioning myself and knowing I needed to do more to figure out what needed to be done.
Yeah, I also think imposter syndrome comes a lot from seeing others at a false reality.
Oh my God.
So
read my mind.
I think honestly social media has caused even worse imposter syndrome, or just people just straight out lying to your face in public, or putting on a facade that their business or that their, their whatever is doing so great. But I think that's a big thing, is that social media has caused people to start visualizing reality a little bit different than it is. And so you start to doubt yourself because mine didn't come that easy. Mine wasn't, my steps weren't taken the same route as that. It didn't happen so instantly. And so I think that's where a lot of this comes from, is just a lot of false reality from social media platforms.
A false reality, people portraying the thing that looks nice. I mean, it's all the business development coaches, right? It's like, if you're not making 10K as a trainer, what are you doing? Like, you should give up now or buy my course. It's like,
exactly.
It's like, dude, you're probably not even making 10K as a trainer. Like, shut up.
Yeah, their business is not killing it the way that you think that their business is killing it, right?
No.
If they were making so much fucking money, they wouldn't even have to be making that kind of content or selling some type of material. Like, they're not killing it in their field, or else they wouldn't be having to share those. So
the guy with the $4,000 Mercedes that's like has like an $8,000 job, and it's like, really?
Right.
That $4,000 payment? You're okay. I mean, you look good.
Yeah. So I think that's a big thing, is the false reality really starts to make you start to second guess. Are you the person that you are trying to be, or have you succeeded enough? Have you got enough accolades to really be a successful owner or gym owner or business owner or trainer, whatever it is that your field is? Yeah, I think just all of that. Social media is a killer when it comes to this.
I had one story for you guys, and then we'll move on to the next part of this. But
I hope it's a good one.
No, thanks. I appreciate it, Tyler. I mean, a little bit of pressure now, and I'm quaking in my boots, but, thank you. Anyway, Tyler's hurtful comments aside, when I got hired at Lifetime, I got hired with Brian Zindafadabidu, Brian X, Mr. I train Olympic athletes and water polo professional athletes, right?
Yeah. I
got in there watching that dude program when day one, I'm like, oh, God, this is the standard here. Oh, my God. Was freaking out. And then I met the member onboarding manager at the time. He's like, oh, no, dude, I don't know how to program. I'm like, what? He's like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I copy workouts from bodybuilding.com.
Oh, that's hella funny.
Oh, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Like,
how successful is this guy?
Yeah, I'll fit in just fine.
Yeah.
20 grand a month? What the? How is this guy like one of the most successful trainers here?
Yeah.
Dude, our current most successful trainer, who is at the gym I work at, he's been in Marin for 30 years, and I see his stacks of folders, and I've looked at his programming sheets, and it's just basic, real old school, and he's got he does a lot with tempo, so he's got tempo in there, 4010, and it's just he gets really nuanced and just the practical stance of it, and I was just I looked at it, I'm like, it looks like bodybuildinggym.com.
Yeah,
he is one of the top trainers and people love him. He's requested a lot.
When it comes to imposter syndrome, I got to say that if you do have imposter syndrome, if you are feeling the effects of this, then good. It means that you're actually trying to achieve something. Right? You're actually pushing to be at some platform, clearly, right? If you don't believe that you're where, who you are, but at least you're trying to be there, right? Does that make sense? Like, at least you're actually putting yourself out there to try and grow. And good, if you have imposter syndrome, just keep going. And guess what? You're going to eventually start to see the success in yourself, and then you're going to get to the next level, and you're going to feel it again. And then just continue those building blocks until you have a fucking empire built.
Dude, 100%. I think repetitions and time are what get you there, and what overcomes that trepidation, that imposter syndrome, that feeling of not enough. Just get the fuck out there and prove it.
Yeah.
Like, just go do it. You will find out you're good.
Think about an NBA basketball player. That motherfucker's been to the free throw line, practiced a million times. When he finally gets up to the line in the game, he's not thinking he's going to miss, right? Like, just keep on shooting. Keep practicing.
I would 100% miss that shot. Would crack under pressure.
Yeah, I don't see you being the best basketball player, to be honest.
No. I'm good at the things that are required to be an athlete, not the whole, like, athlete thing. Horrible athlete.
Do you remember his dance moves out in Florida? That's him as an athlete.
I don't think we went to Florida, bro.
When did we go to Florida, Tyler?
Oh, New Orleans.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
I remember.
Somewhere out there.
On cue, I got a video of it. We're gonna B-roll right there on this video content.
Dude, I have that video too.
Oh.
I promise you, that's not the only drunk Ryan dancing video that exists on the internet. There are many.
It's so good. It is so good.
Yeah.
Please.
Hey,
and let's take a moment to watch that clip. There you go. There you go, Tommy. Put that in there.
My horrible dancing skills aside, which, yes, I have no rhythm. These hips do not lie. But I don't know where I was going with that. But
no idea.
All right, so let's get into some practical ways to combat imposter syndrome. I mean, I know we're talking about repetitions. Absolutely. I get the whole time under tension equals the adaptation you're going after. Mm-hmm. But how can we get some, hey, here's 2 or 3 tasks that the average trainer can get out there and just start doing today to start overcoming that? I mean, my one is always about try to find the areas that you have succeeded on and kind of get them all in a row. I think that builds a lot of confidence for people. And then to commit yourself to doing something and overcoming it. So picking a challenge, whether it's I'm going to put K on the board or I'm going to run this marathon or something hard that breeds some form of an award at the end would be my way to combat it. But that's just how my mind works.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think, honestly, looking backtrack, right? Backtrack at the success you've had so far. Look back and really give yourself credit. That's the hard thing, is give yourself credit for all that you've accomplished and how far you've come. And yeah, you still want to go a ways further, but I think that right there is huge. And then also allow others to speak and believe what they have to say. Right? Like, that's a big one, is like other people will tell you how great of a job you're doing. And most of the time you'll just let it in and let it right out and actually take that in, because those are the viewers. Other than, obviously, we're very hard judgments on ourselves, but listen to others, because what they say is usually the truth. I mean, if they're telling you, hey, you're a fucking horrible coach, well, okay, then maybe you don't have imposter syndrome. Maybe you just suck as a coach. But
oh my God.
99%. Hey, I'm just saying, 99% of the time, though, it's usually somebody giving you congratulations, right? Yeah. And so really take that in and, allow that to give you confidence, knowing that you're doing a fucking good job. And, show up the next day and consistently just continue to grow on that good job.
And to pair it on Aaron's point there, we're approaching 200 subscribers on the channel. So statistically, 2 of you fucking suck. I don't know what to tell you. Ultra Elite Fitness, go let them know how you feel about that.
I said if somebody tells you that you suck. I don't think you guys ever had that experience as a client ever came to you and said, dude, you suck at your job.
I had a client drop me in the middle of a fucking workout and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like you.
Oh, that's okay. Because of the workout.
No, just didn't like me as a person. Was like, I find you fucking insufferable. I can't. I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm paid for the hour, so.
My dude, that's a confidence killer. If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh
I went
my
home.
god.
I went home. Yeah, I literally finished
Did
my
you?
day, called all the rest of my people for the day, canceled, and went, I gotta go home. That just rocked the shit out of my ego.
Yeah.
Wow.
I need some thinking.
You are just insufferable.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
So, guys, one of the 1% that I was talking about, right? 99% of the people will not get that ever to happen.
Right.
Unless you're me and you run a company that helps trainers grow their businesses. The irony's not lost on me. Anyway, DJ.
All right. So the one way that this is how I figure out a lot of my problems. And I was actually taught this through AA. So, very good spiritual pathway as far as enlightenment or whatever you want to call it. Writing it out, right? To take time, solace to yourself is if you're having some feeling, right? And recently I learned about the difference between thoughts and thinking. I can't control a thought. If something came across my mind, like, dude, like, that's a door. Like, I don't know, just any type of random thought, or like, I don't like that person, or I don't like how they said that. That's a thought. Mm-hmm. The thinking is a pattern. So continuous thinking and resolving a pattern only comes from you have resolution. Either it's acceptance or it's, faulting on it and saying, like, this is just not true. Like, somebody tells you the sky is red. You're like, oh, the sky's red? Yeah, it's red right now. And you go outside and see it's blue. Then you'll completely believe, okay, it's blue, until you visually see it. But for writing stuff down, if I, like, a sense of doubt, if something like that was entering my head on a consistent basis, which I do when I have resentments towards people or places or things, if something happens, I'm just like, I have to dwell on it. I don't dwell long. As I go home, I write it out. I write out, what was this? How did it affect me? What was my part in it? What do I think about it? Right? And what are the causes of actions that will take away this thinking? What can I do about this? Do I owe somebody an apology? Do I need to write out a daily affirmation and say, like, I need to repeat to myself daily, or when this next happens, say, hey, this is not my area of expertise.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn how to do this, and then act upon it and have a script of how you're going to intentionally go through that. If something's bleeding on you for a week, a month, 2 months, and you let that just wound keep bleeding, it will never heal and never resolve itself. And you'll just keep having that thief of sense of doubt and joy.
Yeah, I think journaling is excellent. I mean, honestly, it's very not only therapeutic, it also just it rationalizes your thoughts. And so putting things down, it allows you to really see that, the bear or the lion is not in the room kind of thing, right? And so it allows you to just kind of put down whatever you're going through. So I think that's excellent.
Here's the last thing that happens when you're writing too. When you're writing, your thoughts, those thought patterns that keep happening, gives you a chance to expand on it. So things that you hadn't really brought up in your mind because you can't consciously finish those sentences. Like, this person affected my happiness today because I felt like I was a terrible trainer, right? If it's just like you're thinking in your head, like, man, like I think I'm a terrible trainer, you're not able to reflect on the full reason why. Like, okay, I feel like this because I'm not sleeping well, because I didn't eat in this morning, because I'm not hydrating enough. Like, you can write out like more of like what's causing this behavior within you, and then you can make a plan of action of how to fix that.
I think it kind of aligns things in order for you about whether something matters or not. Like, have you guys ever tried to like research a problem? Like, man, I have this demon that I'm running away from, and then you start trying to solve it, and you're like, wait a minute. This isn't even worth the work required for me to solve the thing that I'm running away from. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I probably shouldn't care about that anymore. Or putting down a thought on a piece of paper, you realize this isn't even worth me writing it down. What am I losing sleep over this for?
Yeah, I think one tool that I've used over the last couple of years, so I was always very much the person that was always judging myself at who I was at that time. Why was I not further? Why blah, blah, blah. And so what I've tried to channel in now is I try not to even look or judge myself of who I am today. I took something from Matthew McConaughey. He gave a speech one time just basically saying that he's always in preparation for he only thinks about who he's trying to become. And so he's always thinking about the future him, right? So he's working today for the future him. And so for me, I've taken that on now to where I'm not even judging the person I am today. I'm only thinking about the person I'm trying to be in 6 months, right? And so it kind of it gives you just this more desire and motivation to push to be that person, because now you're never stuck judging yourself in the current moment. And so for me, that's been a big help. And shout out to my guy Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
That dude's
You're
awesome.
talking about his speech of the 13 principles he lives by. When he talks about that, he goes into the who's his hero, and he always had people who talk about his hero.
Yes.
And his hero
My
was
hero is
himself
himself.
in 10 years.
Yes. And so, the way I've taken that in mine now is that I am now just always prepping for myself in X amount of time. I don't like to sit in it and, judge where I'm at now, because it always, it's negative thoughts. It's time consuming. And, it's been a big part of my life where it's actually brought me down and had me start things way later than I should have.
Yeah. If you haven't read the book Green Lights, go read it.
Just finished it.
Dude,
amazing.
Such a great. I've read it twice. It's fucking it's
so
awesome.
So good.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big tool, is stop focusing so harsh on who you are at the moment, because guess what? That's not who you're going to be in 6 months. So worry about that person, right?
I've always liked the idea of, going back to just comparing yourself, like the exact parallel to that, right? Thinking back to, that didn't kill me. I made it through that. I overcame that. I used to be at this horrible place, and I might not be where I want to be now, but like, I'm not at that horrible place anymore. And that confidence that comes from a lot of that. But again, that's just the duality of, you can look forward to be optimistic, but you can look to the past to learn from it. And I think that's just huge. But
you got to reprogram your brain. Just like even today, I have a $3,000 payment going through for my car that got blocked by my account. I had to sit on the phone for an hour, go into the bank, sit for an hour, wait for somebody. And I sat there. I didn't bring my phone in. I sat there and peacefully meditating and just thinking, how grateful am I that I get to have a car, that I get to live where I am, that I have the ability to drive. You can either choose to be resentful and be hatred in the action. I got a little heated about it, and it just was like, there's nothing I can do. Like, I got to move on.
Stoicism, and what is it? It's one of the principles of AA, right? It's, oh my God, I just had this. It's the serenity prayer, more or less, but it's looking at things that you have control over and things that you don't have. Yeah. It's why worry about, the person that hit you. You couldn't have done anything about that. That already happened, but now you can be actionable. So focusing on the future.
Yeah. Accepting the things I cannot change.
There it is.
The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
I was going to say, I was kind of like waiting for Tyler to get in there. I'm like, I know you fucking know this, you asshole.
I know, I was too. He's just like, I'm going to let this guy sweat it out.
I know. I'm just going through this. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to butcher it.
I think going to 3 meetings a week still to this day and being involved, I should know that prayer pretty damn well.
I mean, kinda.
You should have jumped in 30 seconds ago.
Hence the point.
Let him sweat it out.
Thanks, bud.
But honestly, guys, everybody, you're gonna experience the wow, I just lost complete train of thought. All right, imposter syndrome.
Choo choo.
Yeah, you're gonna all experience the imposter syndrome. It's gonna come, it's gonna go, and just take it in and understand that, hey, at least you're doing something, and just connect it to, we're gonna grow with it, and I'm gonna be better on the other side of this.
Yeah, let that train leave the station.
Words. Who even needs them?
Yeah, right?
That's all right. I don't have a mastery of the English language, so we're good. All right. I think we'll wrap it up there.
Espanol.
No habla. But I think we'll wrap it there. But this has been a fantastic episode, guys, talking about imposter syndrome. If you guys are facing it yourself, you're not alone. I promise you, everyone that you're looking at faced it. Every person online, that guy in the gym that's crushing it, I promise you, he once had to give a lecture in front of people and just was losing his mind behind the scenes. Everyone's been there. The only way to truly combat it is to make an assessment of yourself, see what you've already overcome, look towards the future because you know you're going to be better. You and I both know it. 2 years ago, you weren't in the place you are now, and 2 years from now, you're not going to be in the place you are now. But, all right, guys, we'll check you in the next one. Love you.